Hello, everyone, and welcome to this video presentation on how to use the library databases to find sources for your research report essay. So I already linked a little video that the library made about how to access the databases off campus that walks you through how to gain access because they are not open access. They are only for Greenville Tech faculty and students to use because they're very expensive and we don't want just any old person not affiliated with the college using them. Okay. When I say expensive, I mean we use your tuition dollars to pay for the subscriptions. So yeah, might as well get some use out of them, right? So let's start by clicking on the button that's now normally in class. I'd be going through this on the big screen and y'all would have laptops with you and you'd be kind of following along as I go. So it's not great that we have to do this through video. And if you have questions or you run into any problems, contact me, come to my office hours, send me an email, whatever, and we'll make sure you can get in. But once you've, kind of watched the tutorial on how to use your student ID number to gain access, right, it's going to prompt you for your ID number and a numerical prefix that you got to put in before the ID number. Don't forget that part or it won't work. If you need help finding your student ID number, let me know and I can look it up for you. So that's how we get in, right? We go to student resources, we go to library services, and then it'll take us to the libraries page. So don't bother down here with search our collections because obviously you're not going to the physical library. Don't bother the search articles or any of that kind of stuff. I've got I think, a better way to find what you need, and that is by clicking on this button here that says Research. And then from the drop-down menu, you're going to select Databases. And this will take you to our database homepage. So just to give you kind of a sense of what the databases are and why they're so special, back when I was in college, we had the internet. It wasn't that long ago, but it was really difficult, kind of impossible to find full text scholarly articles online, right? Google Scholar was a joke back then. It was pretty pointless. And so what we'd have to do is go to our actual physical library and then use like the computer kiosk. So I could do searches from home too. That's one thing I could do online, much like this. But what it would give me in the results is a list. I put in search terms and it would give me a list of results. And those wouldn't be the actual articles. It would be information on where to find those articles in the physical library. So I'd have to write down the call number and that would take me to the right floor and the right shelf of books. But there may be thousands of books on that shelf. And of course, they're always brown, same kind of brown binding with little white writing on there. And if I was looking for a specific journal article, I would have to, of course, write down the journal name. I'd also have to write down the volume and issue number, the title of the article, use all that information to go and find that particular volume and issue of the journal, flip through the table of contents to find the article I was looking for, go to that, skim it. If it was useful, it was amazing and awesome, and I would go and make a photocopy of that because I couldn't take it with me. Photocopy the pages I needed, do that as many times as I needed to for the paper I was working on, take those photocopies back to my dorm room, annotate them, and then write a paper. So as you can imagine, that was very time consuming, and it was also limited to only what we had in the physical library. So what they've done since then, since ye olden times, is they've taken everything in that library and a million other libraries times 10, and they've paid people to scan all of that stuff and dump them into these databases as like PDFs and HTML documents. So that means you have exponentially more resources than I ever had, and you can do all of it from the comfort of your own home, which is really nice right now. So it's pretty miraculous. It's a wonderful thing, and I want to make sure that we get the most use out of it that we can. But I'd also want to say that just to kind of let you know, this is the databases do not generate their own content. They just store it there, like big virtual storage library, basically. So how to find what you need once you get in here. So there's a few ways to do your searches. Okay, I'm going to take you through 3 possible ways to do it to get to what you need. One way is to use the subject guides here. Okay, so you'll see why this might be helpful in a second. But what the helpful librarians have done is taken all the many, many databases that we subscribe to and categorize them. So if your topic falls within a certain kind of general subject, or you're looking specifically for encyclopedia databases, or specifically for newspapers, or specifically for science stuff, whatever, you can click on that. And the age-old Professor Wolfgang having to erase things dilemma. Oh, it doesn't look very good. It's taking forever. I'm using the tablet right now to screencastify to make this for you. I'm sure there's an easier way, and I'm sure Alex knows what it is, but I don't. Miss you guys. Okay, so if I click on, let's say, like I said, let's say like global facts and issues. Okay, this isn't a database, but it takes me to databases. So it breaks it down. These are all the different databases we have that deal with like global facts and issues. So if your topic is something that's like international in flavor, you might want to check here. In fact, Global Issues in Context is a fabulous database that I cannot recommend enough. I'm going to show y'all some of our in context databases before we end here today, and so you can see why they're so great. You should give them a try. All right, so let's X out of that. So that's one way to do it. Okay, same thing you do like encyclopedias and dictionaries, if you're looking for an encyclopedia source. So this takes you to our list of encyclopedia databases. We've got Gale Virtual Reference Library. We've got Britannica Online Academic Edition, much better than the free version. And we've got something called Credo Reference, which is one of my all-time fave databases. And I'm going to show that to y'all as well. You should definitely go see if your topic's in there. I bet it is, because they search thousands and thousands of encyclopedias and reference sources simultaneously. It's pretty amazing. So that's one way to do it. Or you can go to where it says A-C, and that will give you a full listing, the full menu of all of the databases that we subscribe to with a little blurb about each one. So two that I just wanted to point out real quick are, can't forget my grammar, subject-verb agreement. These two right here, okay? Academic OneFile and Academic Search Premier. So this is a great place to find scholarly journal articles, either for the quiz that you're doing or for your paper in general. So like it says, it covers a variety of many, it's not subject specific. It covers all kinds of subjects and academic disciplines. So it can be kind of a good one-stop shop for looking for information. Oh, now the eraser doesn't work. Go figure. No, we're stuck with it forever. Oh well. All right, I won't do any more scribbling then. And that'll just follow us around till death do we part. All right, so like you can see, it's an A to Z list. It's the full exhaustive list. So some ones that I wanted to point out are, let's see, Credo Reference. So I told y'all that was amazing. So let's take a look at that real quick so you can see why I love it so much. And so this is where it prompts you for the login. Mine's saved, so it doesn't. I just have cookies. And you just saw my personal ID number. Don't steal it, please. And thank you. So yeah, you put in the little prefix and your student ID number. Again, if you need help with that, let me know, okay? Sooner rather than later, okay? And not at like 2 a.m. Thanks. Please and thank you. So this is where we do the full search, okay? Like it says, millions of articles, lots of different places. It's great. So let's say we've got health and medicine down here. That's pretty cool. Human nutrition. That's nice. So yeah, let's say this. Normally, what I would do is I would know y'all's topics already for your papers by this point, and I would use somebody's as an example. But since I don't know what your topics are yet, I'm making this video in advance. I'm just gonna have to make one up. So let's say you're looking for information on the keto diet. Okay. I'm going to keep using that as an example. It's not like I'm a fan or anything. It's just something that comes up a lot lately. And something I was looking into and decided, no. So what you get, I mean, there's a lot of information about it. It's a big topic. So over here, you get this cool thing where it kind of mind maps the issue, and it also can take you to other articles if you click on these that are related to the term you just looked up. But The important thing I want to show you over on the left-hand side is all of these results. Now, some of them, okay, might be a little bit too, I don't know, advanced. That's okay. There's all kinds of levels of source material in here. Some of it's like, kind of where we are, non-experts to expert level. So a lot of the stuff has to do with seizure, and then we go to Atkins diet, so it must be related to that. Diet directory, so it must mention keto in there somewhere. But yeah, probably these top two here might be the. Now this one's only 12 words long. It tells you how long the article is. This one's a little bit more involved, so I'm thinking this top source might be my best score here. But so this is a good place to check for reference sources. Good place to just get like definitions, general explanations of things. All right, so check out Credo for sure. Let me try erasing one more time. Nope. Not having it. Okay. Ignore it, I guess. Sorry. We do have an ebook, 2 different ebook databases. What's cool about these is you don't even have to read the whole book. You can just do a search for a term and it'll show you not only the books, but like if you click on it, it'll show you just the pages that have the topic you looked up in there. So you don't even have to like look at a table of contents or anything or an index. It takes you right to those pages. It's pretty cool. What else do I want to show you? Films on demand. If you are a documentary film nerd like I am and you learn better through multimedia, it is so worth doing a check to see if your topic is in films on demand. And what's cool about it is not only, it's better than YouTube in that it will give you the full movie, right? Which can be hard to find on YouTube because of copyright stuff. You don't have to worry about that with these. And it'll also, much like the ebooks thing, oh wow, that looks very topical. If we do, let me try. I don't know if there's anything about keto diet in here, but it's worth a look. What it'll do is it'll show you results, and then once you click on a result, it'll break the, okay. Fat versus sugar. That sounds interesting. What's worse for you, fat or sugar? That is a great question. Oh my gosh, that could be like a whole research paper right there. I love that. Because it seems like there's always diets that are getting rid of one or the other, right? So let's say I wanted to watch that film. So as you can see on the side, it's broken it down into segments. And so if I just wanted to go straight to, let's say this thing on brain and metabolism, it would take me right to that segment. And I wouldn't even have to watch the rest of the video because it's almost an hour long. I could watch it, but if I just needed information on that, it's a video within a video. We've gone through the looking glass. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of that. So it's definitely worth a look to see if your topic's in there. There could be some really good stuff. Global issues in context was that one I mentioned earlier. We're gonna circle back to that in a second. Down here, if your subject is health related, I guess the little thing on the side is kind of useful because we'll just let it sit there next to the thing I want to point to you. If you are doing a health related topic, we have like 6 different health related databases. And now some of them are going to be probably too advanced for you, like the nursing academic edition one. It's for nursing students who've been taking nursing courses and doing clinicals and all this kind of stuff. So like it's probably, a little advanced. But look, you don't have to use that. We've got alternative health model one. So if you're doing something about alternative, holistic medicine or whatever, your topic's probably in there. Consumer edition is really good because look at that, food sciences, nutrition, general health. Because we're all consumers, it's going to be written at more of a consumer level. So that one's definitely worth a look too. Let's see, InfoTrack News Center. Where'd that go? Right here, newsstand. Great place to find newspaper articles. If you need any kind of more up-to-date, newsy kind of sources. What else did I want to show you before I go back to the in context? Science in Context. That's a great one too. So any of the in context databases. Oh, look, Scientific American. That's new. Got archived issues. It's a great magazine. Any of the in context databases are going to be, let me show you right now. They all work the same way and they're all great in that they show you lots of different kinds of sources at one time. Okay. So if I did okay, let's stick with the theme, keto diet, right? So it comes up. Okay, so as you can see up here at the top, it's given me academic journal articles. It's given me reference sources. It's given me an audio source, news articles, and magazine articles. So that's a great result. Like, and I can actually narrow my results too if I wanted to. So here's a really good trick. You can use the combined and search. So if I did keto diet and weight loss, what's going to happen is that it's only going to show me results that mention both of those terms, none that don't mention both. So that just narrowed down my results pretty considerably, which is good, right? That's so right here. This looks like a pretty good article right here: diet and the management of weight loss. Now, again, some of these are going to be a little advanced, like this one right here: resting metabolic rate of a bit. Like, okay, that might be a little too complicated for me because I'm not a doctor. But paleo versus keto, what's the difference? That's from U.S. News. That looks pretty good. So I don't know. That's why I'm here finding out, I guess. So yeah, doing a combined search like that, and you can do as many ands as you want to narrow and narrow and narrow. That's a great way to, again, narrow your results so that you're not sifting through so much stuff. A little pro tip for you there. So like I said, anything that ends with in context, right? Global issues in context, science in context. If your topic is controversial, then I would suggest trying this one right here, opposing viewpoints in context, because like it says news and opinions on current controversial topics. That one's really good. So if yours is a controversial issue, definitely check there. All right. So what else? We've got some history ones in here too. So if yours is a history topic, either world or U.S. history might be good for you, depending on what you're researching. Okay, so you can look at the full list here just to see all the things we have, or you can do that grouping by subject so it narrows it down. Okay, if you just want health ones, then it'll take you right to those. One last way to do your searches, and I leave this for last because I don't want students to start with this. I like to call it the nuclear option because it really is, well, it's that. It should not be the first resort. Okay. So you can do what's called a power search. So maybe you noticed on that A to Z list, if not, I'm going to take you back again because it's kind of an important detail to point out. Maybe you noticed that a lot of the databases either say EBSCO or they say Gale. EBSCO, Gale, EBSCO. Okay. So what that means is EBSCOhost and Gale, they are database. They're basically they're what's the word I'm looking for? Like they're the ones who own all of these smaller databases. So if it says EBSCO, it's owned by EBSCO. If it says Gale, it's owned by Gale, and they're the ones who like power the searches. Okay, they don't create the content; they just house it and store it there. So it's like the difference between Google and Bing. Like you get pretty much the same stuff. It's just two different companies, okay, getting you where you need to go. So the reason I point this out is just so you understand what is meant by an EBSCO power search. What happens when you do that, or Gale power search? I'm kind of a Gale gal, so we'll do that. But EBSCO's fine too. It's Coke and Pepsi. It's basically the same thing, but whatever. It's a matter of personal preference. So if I do, that's a weird looking list. If I do keto diet in this power search, what it's doing, and it can take a while, what it's doing is it's searching it's taking a while because it's searching a lot of information simultaneously. It searches all of the Gale owned databases that we have simultaneously. And so as you can see, I get a lot of results. 779 magazines, 1,750 journals, 89 books, 6,000 news sources. I mean, it's just like, that's why I said don't start with that. Now you can do the combined searches, right? And narrow your results like we talked about. You can do that with any database. Okay. And it trimmed it down quite a bit. And this could be good. You know, this one right here could be a good source. I don't know. I mean, it's just about looking at it. There's a lot of these look kind of Similar. Technavio. I don't even know what that is. This one could be good though. Better nutrition. You know, trendy diets and oral health. That sounds interesting. Yeah. So could be good, but like I said, I wouldn't start there because it's a lot like. I know it seems like, oh, it's just easier to jump right there, but it's a lot like shopping at Walmart versus, going to a hardware store. If all you need is a hammer, is going to Walmart really the most efficient way to do your shopping? That's what these are. These are like Walmart. They've got everything and they show you everything at one time, and it can be kind of overwhelming. Whereas if you just need a hammer, it's probably better to go to the hardware store, or, the analogy being like one of these subject specific databases here, so you can get to what you need a little faster. But if you're desperate, Walmart's a good solution, right? It's got everything and it's always there. So that's kind of how these quick searches are too. So let's talk about the quiz that you're going to do for this. There it is. So here's what it's going to look like. What you're going to do, this is the exact same quiz I would have given you in class to work on while we were talking about this. You'd have your laptop and you turn it in at the end of class. But instead, what I'm doing is I'm giving you this document. You are going to download it, fill it out, all right, and then save it and upload it, okay? Because that's really the only way to do it. I don't feel like making a whole new thing. Sorry. And this will work fine. So the important thing is, what am I asking you for? What are all these boxes about? So key here being, you need to use the databases to actually find these sources, because that's what makes it the database quiz. Don't go to like YouTube or whatever, because you already know how to do that. That's not what I'm asking for. So you don't actually have to use these sources later on the paper. It's just, we got to start somewhere. Okay. So it's a little scavenger hunt. You're going to go find a magazine or newspaper article related to your report topic. And once you do, right, you're going to put the following information in these boxes. You're going to tell me what database it came from. So what I need to know is like where to go on that A to Z list. If it's InfoTrack, newsstand, or maybe you got it at you went to one of those Gale in context databases. So let's say maybe you went to like opposing viewpoints in context, because they have plenty of newspaper and magazine articles in there, right? So I need to know what database you went to. So if you put just Gale or EBSCOhost in there because you did the power search, like, oh, I did a Gale power, like I won't give you credit for that, because it doesn't tell me, what database it actually came from. It's like saying I found my website through Google. Like, well, no kidding, but it doesn't actually get us to the source. So where it says publication, what I want to know is what magazine or newspaper did it come from? And that's true for these down here too. So when you find a scholarly or academic journal article, again, the Academic OneFile and Academic Search Premier are great places for that. But those but any of the in context databases, opposing viewpoints, global issues, science and context, any of those are going to have plenty of these kind of sources too. So can you use the same database for all of these? Like, sure. If you can find your first, your second, and your encyclopedia entry source all at the same database, like, yeah, that's fine. That's totally fine. They don't have to be from different databases. Okay, you might get lucky and not have to do that. So down here where it says publication name, I'm looking for, all right, what's the name of the journal where this article came from, right? Same thing down here. What's the name of the encyclopedia where it came from? Okay. If you don't have an author name, and I'll show you where to look for that information in just a second. If you don't have an author name, you can just put NA, okay? Which tells me no author. Oh, and if you want to go into Films on Demand or wherever and try to find an audio visual source on your topic, if you can, it's extra credit, because I can't guarantee that everyone will have one, so it wouldn't be fair to make it for credit. But if you can find one, tell me, and you get extra credit. It's worth a look. So here's where you go to find the information. So this is one of the really nice things about, here, let's go back to this Credo. Okay. Here's one of the really nice things about databases. If I was going to, let's say, use this for my encyclopedia entry for the quiz, okay, all the information I need is up here more or less. I've got the database name, Credo reference. I've got the original publication, the Gale Encyclopedia of Diets. I've got the article title, Ketogenic Diets, but I don't know if there's an author name. There might not be because it's an encyclopedia entry and no one really cares who writes the encyclopedia or the dictionary. But just to be sure, oh, look at that. I'm going to come down here, and depending on what kind of database you're looking at, some will have them down at the bottom of the article. Some they'll have a little button you have to click on toward the top that says cite this article or citation tool or whatever. But this will show you, now pick MLA because we don't use APA because we're not psychology students. This will tell you all the information you need, okay? Now, maybe you're wondering, hey, if I did use this source in my paper, could I just copy and paste this works cited entry into my works cited page? And I'm here to tell you the answer is yes. Yes, you could. But I say that with a warning, and the warning is this. Not all of our databases follow the correct citation format. Okay, they say MLA, but that's no guarantee. So I can look at this entry right here that they give us. I can look at that and tell you that there are at least 4 things wrong with it. I can do that because I have MLA citation formats memorized because I teach it for a living. You are not expected to memorize the format. So I'm going to show y'all in either a Collaborate session or one of our lecture videos, I'm going to show you where in your handbook, your orange handbook, the guidelines that you should be following to do it correctly. Because you can copy and paste it in, but you'll have to fix any mistakes they made, because if they're wrong, you're wrong, and you won't know until you double check. And I can always tell in about half a second whether people did that or not, because they're always wrong in the same way. Credo reference is always wrong in the same way. Some of the other databases are always wrong in the same way. And then I'm like, that was super lazy of her or him, and now you get a bad grade. Anyway, so the good news is, yeah, it'll save you some time. You copy and paste it in. You just got to make the tweaks. We'll talk about what those tweaks are in the coming weeks. But here's an interesting thing, though, is that we do have an author name down here, Rebecca Frey. So that is what I would put in that box where it says author. Okay, so it's good. It's a good idea to check. So come down here to encyclopedia entry, Rebecca Frey. Okay. So it kind of goes backwards. And then for the database, right, there's Credo reference. Okay, that's our database name. So like I said, it kind of goes backwards. The database is going to be, toward the end of the entry. Boop, boop, boop. There it is, Credo reference. And yes, you can do this too. You can just copy paste stuff in. The original publication that the article came from, the Gale Encyclopedia of Diets. Great. All my many, many files I have open. The entry title was Ketogenic Diets. Take that. Yeah. Okay. And boom, done. Right? That one's done. And I would just do the exact same thing for these other 2. Again, maybe I can find them all in the same database, find everything at Credo, or find everything at Science and Context. So the database name would be the same in each box here, or I might have to go to different databases to find what I need. It just depends. So once you fill all this out, right, you'll save it to your computer, you upload it to Blackboard as an attached document, and you get an A. Easy peasy, right? Okay, so if you have any problems with this assignment, or you run into any problems while doing your research, having a hard time finding anything, I love a challenge. So when students tell me there's nothing about their topic in the databases, I take that as a challenge, and I like to prove them wrong. So I'm like, give me 5 minutes, and I crack my knuckles and I go to work, right? So yeah, don't give up just because it's a little hard. Like, it's supposed to be hard. Google's designed to be super easy, but it's not as good. It's not as in-depth. So whereas, using Google, it's like it casts the widest possible net, throws big handfuls of random birdshot into the dark. This is like doing your hunting with a harpoon, right? It's harder, but you get bigger scores and bigger wins out of it. And it's just a more sophisticated way to find more sophisticated information. So if it feels hard, good. It should feel hard, right? Don't give up. And if you are thinking about pulling the plug on a topic, definitely consult me first, because we may just need to, again, dig in there a little deeper or revise your approach to the topic so that it's getting you the information you need. Either way, let me know and I will help you and we'll get you headed back in the right direction. So don't give up. Okay. All right, y'all. I hope this was helpful and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.